We're about to witness a massive shift in Western thought, and it's all told through the story of two amazing sculptures. I mean, think about it. In just over a century, the Greek idea of a hero goes from this, a perfect, godlike figure at the absolute peak of his power, to a weary, exhausted man, literally crushed by his own strength. So how on earth did that happen? Let's get into it.
Okay, so just look at these two guys. On the left, you've got this athlete who's just coiled up like a spring, buzzing with potential energy. But then on the right, a hero whose muscles are so huge, yet he can't even seem to stand up on his own. They're both masterworks of Greek sculpture, but they're telling two totally different stories about what it even means to be strong. What gives?
All right, so our story kicks off in the 5th century BCE. This is what we call the High Classical period. And honestly, it was a time of just incredible confidence for the Greeks, especially in Athens. They really believed the universe had this divine, logical order, and you can totally see that reflected in their art, which was all about chasing perfection.
And here is that perfection, right here. This is the Discobolos, or the discus thrower, sculpted by Myron. And just look at it. The whole thing is this masterpiece of geometry. It's all these intersecting curves that build the tension of a bow being pulled all the way back. Myron has managed to freeze this one perfect moment, the absolute peak of potential, like a split second before that explosive release of power.
So the sculptor, Myron, was obsessed with this idea called rhythmos. And this wasn't just, rhythm as we think of it. It was about capturing the perfect, harmonious flow inside a single moment of action. So in his mind, he wasn't just sculpting some guy throwing a disc. No, he was sculpting the very idea of that perfect, powerful motion.
But, okay, lean in a bit. Take a closer look at his face. The guy's body is under some serious strain. I mean, every single muscle is firing. But his face? It shows absolutely nothing. No gritting teeth, no look of concentration, zero emotion. It's just calm, detached, almost godlike. So what's up with that?
Well, the answer comes down to this big philosophical idea of the time, ethos. Basically, the Greeks believed that a truly noble person, an ideal man, had complete rational control over his emotions. So to show any kind of strain or passion, that would be seen as a weakness, a lack of control. It would make you seem merely human. And this guy, he isn't just a man. He's supposed to be the embodiment of that godlike ideal.
But that perfect world, that feeling that everything was in its right place, it was about to be completely shattered. That century of confidence was about to crash headfirst into decades of brutal, self-destructive war.
We're talking about the Peloponnesian Wars. This was Greek city-state versus Greek city-state, and the trauma it left behind just broke all those old beliefs. That idea of a perfectly ordered universe, gone. And in its place came this new focus on the individual, on messy, complicated human experiences, and on what was really going on inside someone's head. And this was a seismic shift that was going to turn Greek art completely on its head.
So, let's fast forward about 130 years. We're in the 4th century BCE now, and we're about to meet a totally new kind of hero. This one was sculpted by a guy named Lysippos, who just so happened to be the personal sculptor for Alexander the Great. So, yeah, he was a big deal.
And this is the Farnes Hercules. Wow. Talk about a change of pace. The light, coiled energy of the discus thrower is totally gone. What we have here is a dude with muscles on top of muscles, just impossibly huge, and yet he's so completely wiped out that he has to lean on his club just to keep from falling over. The big moment is over. All that's left is this crushing, heavy exhaustion.
And just look at his face. You can see the furrowed brow, the deep-set, tired eyes. He just looks world-weary. There's absolutely zero divine calm here. This is a hero who has been through it. He's not some untouchable ideal anymore. He's been dragged right down to earth and made painfully, deeply human.
So this new obsession with human suffering, with what's going on inside, it has a name, pathos. And the goal here is the total opposite of what we saw before. It's not about showing some detached ideal anymore. Now the artist wants to hit you right in the feels. They want to make you, the viewer, actually feel the weight of this hero's burden.
But here's where Lysippos does something truly mind-blowing for the time. He creates a story that you literally cannot understand just by looking at it from the front. Nope. To get the full picture of why Hercules is so exhausted, you have to get up and move. You have to walk around and explore the statue in 3D.
And as you walk around to the back, bam, you see it. he's hiding something. In his right hand, behind his back, are the golden apples of the Hesperides. And that one detail explains everything. He has just finished his 11th labor, one of his absolute hardest. So his exhaustion? It's not a sign of weakness at all. It's the direct result of his incredible heroism. The hero and his struggle have become the same thing.
So, let's put these two heroes side by side, because when you do, you're not just looking at two statues, you're looking at a complete revolution in how the Greeks saw the world, and how they saw themselves.
Honestly, the faces say it all, don't they? On the left, you've got that divine calm of ethos, an ideal that's way beyond human feelings. And on the right, the tired, real suffering of pathos, an emotional reality that, we can actually relate to.
Okay, so let's just break this whole evolution down real quick. With Myron's statue, we're at the peak of the action. With Lysippos, we're in the aftermath. Psychologically, we go from the godlike, emotionless ideal, that's ethos, to very human, very real suffering, that's pathos. And even the way we're supposed to look at the art changes, right? From one perfect 2D-like viewpoint to a full-on 3D story that you have to explore.
So yeah, this was way more than just a change in style. This was a completely new vision for what art could even do.
To put it simply, the age of idealized perfection was done. The age of human drama had officially begun. Lysippus didn't just open the door to a new world of art. He kicked it wide open.
You see, his focus on pathos, on that psychological depth, paved the way for the next huge chapter in Greek art, the Hellenistic period. And that era was all about hyper-emotionalism, super dramatic, theatrical scenes, and intense realism. And all of it, you can trace it right back to this one tired, burdened statue of Hercules.
And all of this leaves us with the question that's still so relevant thousands of years later. I mean, think about our heroes today, the ones we see in movies or read about in books, or even the ones in real life. How do we want them to be? Do we want them to be flawless, untouchable ideals, kind of like the Discobolus? Or do we want them to be complicated, burdened humans, just like Hercules? I think the answer really says a lot about us.